a horrendous murder of a little schoolgirl shocked a large city. Don't miss out. The girl's spirit will appear to share her pain. Welcome to Psychic Investigations, a channel that only features true and impressive stories. People who call themselves clairvoyants investigate incredible paranormal mysteries and tangled criminal cases. At 6 in the evening on a warm June day, on the shore of the Dnipro River in one of the Ukrainian cities, a shocked crowd stood around the dead body of a girl lying on sand. Rescuers had just taken her out of the water. It was Versavia Forletova, an 11-year-old schoolgirl.
She was lying on the shore, at the edge of the water, covered with black plastic bag. And cross on.
Everyone was stunned.
Two frightened boys of 7 and 9 sat apart from everyone else on the beach. One of them had just lost his only sister.
I don't even want to recall it. It hurts me a lot.
It was a weekend, Sunday. Versavia and her younger brother Dmytro and their neighbor Arsen played in the courtyard, while their mother and grandmother were busy with household chores.
They decided to go fishing. The Dnipro is 6 bus stops away from their home. Dmytro said he, Arsen, and Versavia walked there.
The river is 2 kilometers away from their home. Children weren't allowed to go this far away from home, so they decided to go there secretly.
We undressed here to swim a little. All 3 of us went into the water and lied at the shore.
The boys claim they left Versavia alone for 15 minutes tops while they went to find sticks to make fishing rods. When they returned, they found the girl dead.
I saw she was floating face down on the water. I called her several times, but she wouldn't answer. And then I swam to her and I reached her, but the depth there was great.
What could have happened to the girl in those 15 minutes at a popular riverside spot on Sunday? Plenty of people were swimming and fishing there.
It was Sunday, so there were many people there. There are a playground and a sports ground nearby.
We were fishing about 400 meters from there. When I went to check my rod, I found those 2 boys. One of them told me, "I think my sister drowned." I dove first, but then decided to call rescuers.
Everything pointed to an incident. The girl went swimming and drowned. Besides, according to her family, Versavia couldn't swim.
The initial forensic investigation concluded drowning.
We didn't want an autopsy first, but now I see it's good. They still did it.
The results of the autopsy came as a shock, not only for the girl's family, but also the police. The 11-year-old girl was brutally beaten and raped before she died.
When the results of the examination came, we were all shocked.
You can't even call it shock. It's a great tragedy.
When the girl got into the water, she was still alive. Before she died, she received knocks on her head and neck, and her legs were bruised and covered with scratches. Naturally, the investigators changed the main version to a murder instead of an incident, as they initially thought.
But the truth was revealed too late, and the investigators didn't get any fingerprints or any other traces from the site. They didn't even interrogate the possible witnesses to the murder. The girl's relatives are still shocked. Who is the beast who raped the schoolgirl so brutally and then killed her? And where? Did it really happen on the crowded beach?
The water in her lungs means she drowned or was drowned in the river. The microflora analysis supports this conclusion. Most probably the girl was raped while she was on the shore.
She came as an angel and went as an angel.
Why did it happen to me? I don't want to live.
This is Olena, Versavia's mother. She's 41. She works at the local water services company. She raised her daughter and son alone after she divorced her children's father many years ago. The man didn't even attend his daughter's funeral.
She was buried in a white dress and with a doll.
The investigation into the girl's death has stalled.
The more details were found, the more questions came up.
But most importantly, the main witnesses, Virsavia's brother Dimitro and their neighbor Arsène, often claim controversial things.
We had an impression that Dimitro learned a prepared text that he'd rehearsed many times. He claimed she'd had a conflict with Arsène, and they quarreled. But Arsène said there was no quarrel whatsoever. We're in the dead end now. The investigation got suspended.
I'm asking the psychics to come and help us find out the details of my cousin's death.
Kayal Alekperov and Olena Kurilova, the most powerful psychics of the project, embark on the investigation.
What is this? Like a flash during the day.
What is it glittering? Nobody sees the thing that the psychics are talking about.
It's a sign from her. Driver, pull over.
Let's go towards the glittering. Look, Versavia. Did the girl from the investigation bring us here?
Tell us what happened to you. Kayal, I see a hand. It's small like a child's hand and it grabs her by her neck and then it drowns her, putting her face down on the water surface.
Indeed, the girl's neck was bruised. Did a child murder her? But who was it? Was it her brother, the boy, who went with them to the river, or somebody else?
Who hurt you? Where do we find him? I have a vision. A building. It's red and square. It looks like a maze. 3 or 4 stories and bars. I see bars.
Olena, the girl is telling me the dead bird keeps my secret.
Let's go to see her mom. Probably she can explain something.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I want to know how my daughter died.
Help us, please.
Can I have your hand? I feel you often see your daughter in your dreams. And in them, she gives you an odd look. I see fear and distrust in her eyes, but I don't know the reason behind them yet.
In one of the dreams, she was sitting on a bench and looking at me, and that was all. She didn't smile or do anything. She was simply staring at me seriously.
Versavia's spirit accompanied us all the way from the cemetery. She didn't say anything. She was simply standing and crying silently. And for some reason, she was looking at her mother with a gaze full of reproof and offense.
She's showing me a large square building of 3-4 stories. Its walls are reddish.
It looks like her school.
We need to go there.
Here it is. This is the building I saw.
However, the moment we approached the school, the security guard started behaving strangely.
He said he wouldn't let you or even me in.
The guard locked himself in the school. He won't let the students out and won't admit anybody. Even parents who came to take their children home can't enter the building.
Let her mom in.
What's going on in this school?
They fear.
We want to see the principal.
Hello?
Hello, why won't you admit us?
We need to enter the building whatever it takes us. The girl's spirit has brought us here for a reason.
I'll go without the cameras.
All right, no problem.
The clairvoyants enter the school. The crew stay outside. However, one of the members managed to film something with their phone. Inside the school, Versavia's spirit was silently looking at all of us. I realized she'd brought us there because she wanted to tell us about the pain she endured while she was alive.
She was beaten repeatedly. She had bruises. I hear screams. She was grabbed, and then her head was dipped in something white with water inside. She wasn't only beaten publicly, but she was also humiliated terribly. However, I failed to find out whose the hand that was drowning the girl in my vision was. She feared the school.
Is somebody among the school students involved in the murder of the 5th grader? But who is it then? And why did they bully poor Versavia?
What we saw inside was horrible. Everyone must know what happened to the girl there. She was one step close to death in that school.
2 boys beat her. One of them was aggressive. He was fair-haired and the other had dark hair.
I saw those boys plunge her head into water.
Something like a sink or a toilet. And then I realized that the vision I'd had at the cemetery wasn't the moment of Versavia's murder. Poor girl. She was drowned twice. And the first time, her classmates tried to drown her in a toilet.
As an adult person, I couldn't even imagine the emotions the 11-year-old child felt.
Did you see the bruises?
I did.
Then why did you do nothing? Olena, now I understand why your daughter is giving you the reproaching look in your dreams. There was nobody to protect Versavia. Nobody cared what she did. She was growing up all by herself. I saw that Versavia was afraid of her own mother. She wasn't beaten only at school, but also at home.
We had conflicts. Once I whipped her so much she was all bruised.
You didn't care about her life. You saw that she was beaten and humiliated at school, but you did nothing. You didn't care.
Olena never approached me. I didn't know of this fact, but now I'm going to speak to everyone, including students, to confirm it.
We had our own investigation, and what we heard from the students and their parents is absolutely shocking. The girl was beaten in the corridor in front of at least 15 other students. Moreover, not only the students, but also their parents knew of that case.
My daughter told me that the teacher paired a boy with Versavia. She took him by the hand, but he told her to take her hand away. He snatched his hand out of hers and started wiping it, saying he didn't want to stink like a bum.
She was different from the other kids. Her clothes were always bad, and her hair was never done properly. It meant nobody cared for her.
She was a pariah, and she was bullied, definitely.
She complained to the teachers. They summoned those kids' parents, and they sometimes came. They assured everything would be all right. But she continued to endure beatings and humiliation.
Does this mean the teachers knew? But did they really do nothing to stop the aggression at the school? Was it somebody of the students who beat, raped, and drowned Versavia?
The girl's spirit wanted us to tell everybody about her suffering. Besides, it didn't happen to Versavia alone.
Those boys aren't guilty of her death, but they must be stopped.
After we spoke to Versavia's classmates, we identified the boys who bullied her and checked their alibis. It turned out that on that day, they were with their parents and didn't go anywhere.
I wish you to never have it in your school anymore.
But who beat the girl so brutally and then drowned her?
At the cemetery, the girl's spirit told me something about a dead bird that kept her secret. Do you know what it could mean?
On their way to the river, they found a swallow in a puddle and tried to save it.
But they failed.
Yes, and so they buried it and covered its grave with sticks.
We need to see the place where she was with the dead bird. It's possible we can feel something there.
It's not far from our home.
I see her holding the bird in her hands and telling it what she feels. The bird was the only one whom she could tell everything.
She liked animals. She thought they were better than people.
I see the girl walk here. She was holding the bird she'd found in the yard, and then she and one of the boys buried it over there, behind those garages. To your daughter, it wasn't just a bird. She saw a friend in it and talked to it. I realized what secret the bird kept. The girl had no father or friends, so she asked the swallow to show her a miracle to make somebody who understood and loved her appear in her life. So, when the stranger approached Versavia and started talking to her kindly, she thought her wish had been granted. And the man was her friend. This was why your daughter wasn't afraid of the rapist.
She was a lonely child. Even when we came to visit her on her birthdays, there were never any other children among the guests, only her relatives.
She was never friends with anybody. She only spoke to her brother. And that was it.
We need to go where the girl spent the last minutes of her life. I feel the children took this track.
Yes, they did.
Let's follow their traces.
They swam. She wasn't murdered here.
And then they went that way. Here's where your daughter's clothes were found.
Dimitro said they'd also waded into the water here.
The girl was alone, and she heard somebody call her. It was the man.
What was Dimitro doing?
He and his friend were wandering around.
Do you mean Dimitro didn't see it?
I feel the commotion on this path, over there, in those bushes. A kick under her knee and she falls to her knees like this.
Oh God.
She falls like this and then one man. He grabs her by the neck and presses her to the ground. And a knock on her temple and then on her head.
Yes, the forensics found a hematoma on her head.
He pressed her down tightly and she couldn't breathe. It happened here.
There are always many people around here, but nobody noticed anything.
The place where the kids were was overgrown with bushes and reeds, and so it was impossible to see what was going on behind them.
Was he alone?
Yes.
Does he feel remorse for what he did?
Beasts have no remorse. Is the current directed that way? It carried away her body.
So she was thrown in the water back there, right?
Most probably, the girl was brutally raped not far from the place where the kids went swimming, and then she was drowned immediately. The traces of fresh blood on the girl's underwear that the investigators found point to that. Besides, her brother and neighbor didn't see any bruises or scratches on her before that.
Give me water.
My brain refuses to accept this information.
Olena, your daughter says you don't miss her at all. She is happier in the heavens than she was with you.
Do I need to weep? I simply don't know how to behave. My mom taught me that. She was also indifferent toward me. I don't know how to behave like a real mother, and I genuinely believe I am to blame for her death. I simply want to ask her to forgive me for being a bad mother.
I also asked her to forgive me for everything I didn't do.
She understands your tears.
The boy is also in serious danger. The danger comes from the man who murdered Versavia. I have a feeling the boy saw his sister's killer, but he didn't realize it. As such, he posed a danger to the murderer.
The psychics go to the police station to share the results of their investigation. The crews stay in the courtyard of the station to wait for the psychics. Here are some fragments of the conversation between the psychics and the investigator.
I saw a group of men on the shore. Then, one of them separated from the group.
He has a round face and a high forehead, and his hairline is receding. His hair is cut short. He's not tall, but broad-shouldered. And he had his knee injured in the past.
He's over 40. He has no family of his own.
Did you find the place where she was raped?
It happened closer to the shore in the bushes.
The psychics spoke to the investigator for almost an hour. Based on their words, the police compiled the facial composite of the schoolgirl's murderer.
We did everything we could. Now it's up to the investigators.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your help.
If you're impressed by the story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. An otherworldly entity is trying to take away a little boy from his parents. Can the psychics stop the murderous ghost? And what terrifying truth about the family will it reveal? Oleksandr and Hanna Sosonenko, parents of a 2-year-old Ukrainian boy named Bohdan, asked the psychics for help.
Bohdan, show how you can swing.
His mother won't let Bohdan go far away from her, as she's certain the boy is in grave danger.
I'm so terrified. I can't imagine my life without him.
I worry about him a lot. He's our only child.
The boy's parents are convinced that an entity from another world is trying to take away their son.
I had a dream in which Bohdan was being chalked. When I woke up, I saw a cat sitting on his chest.
The family has no pets, however. Hanna doesn't understand how the cat could sneak into their house at night, as all the doors and windows were shut. Besides, the cat disappeared just as mysteriously as it had appeared. And after that dream,
we were in the car, and on the turn to our house, a red car drove out in front of us suddenly.
The red car almost hit the car in which the family was. The boy was sitting on his mother's lap. The only thing that saved them from the collision was that the father turned the steering wheel timely.
It swerved wildly, but I stopped it. My heart was racing.
And 2 days later, little Bohdan was close to death again.
I have this large mirror, and Bohdan was running not far from it, and it fell.
At the last moment, Hanna's uncle caught the mirror and saved the boy from death.
It could hit him on the head. And it's heavy. It's really heavy.
Panicked, the parents took all the mirrors and pictures off the walls and made sure all the ceiling lights were fixed firmly in place. But it didn't help. A few days after that, some kind of unknown force hurled Bohdan against the wall.
He was not more than 3 meters from us. There was nobody around him, but he suddenly swirled. When he rose his head, it was all bloodied.
Almost every day, the boy finds himself faced with situations between life and death. His family is certain it's not a mere coincidence.
There have been too many of these mysterious situations, too many coincidences for one kid.
When Hanna learned that the famous gypsy clairvoyant Rubina Tsibulska was nearby, conducting an investigation, she hurried to see her and ask her for help.
Hello. I really need your help. I have a little son, and I think he's in terrible danger.
What's his name?
Bohdan.
I see hands holding a little doll. And someone winds a black thread around the doll's throat, chalking it. It really looks like a ritual. To put a death spell on somebody.
He almost suffocated right before he was born. We arrived at the hospital, and everything was all right. And then suddenly his heart rate decreased, and he began suffocating.
To save the boy, the doctors performed an urgent C-section on Hana.
The situation was very, very serious, and I required assistance.
Azerbaijani psychic Kayal Alekperov agreed to help Rubina Tsibulska.
My book says we will find the answer under the white birds.
Where is this place?
The father must know it. There's a secret connected with him.
Does it mean the boy's father is to blame?
When I look at Alexander's photo, my jinns tell me Kabil and Habil. There's a story of fratricide in the Quran.
There's a story of Cain and Abel in the Old Testament. In it, one brother killed another.
We must ask Alexander if he has a brother.
I saw a man in the dream I had last night. He was all bow-backed and broken all over. He was sitting making a coffin. And there were 2 more closed coffins standing upright behind him. He told me, "Don't interfere."
Hello. Thank you for coming.
Hello, Hana.
I'm Alexander, Hana's husband. We worry about our son Bodan.
Tell me, do you have a brother?
I don't. I only have 2 sisters.
It's weird. Wait, where's the boy?
He's inside.
Kayal, what's wrong?
The board fell.
The board could have cracked his head open.
He uses it for drawing.
There was a dead man's spirit in the room next to the boy. He pushed the heavy board down. The man's spirit is about my height. And he was reaching out to Bodan as if he wanted to asphyxiate him.
Bodan, look in the mirror. Do you see yourself?
Yes.
I see a boy's figure, and I need to see who this child is. I need to summon his spirit.
It was highly dangerous to carry out any rituals while the child was around.
Go to Grandpa.
Show yourself. He's about 6 or 7. He's fair-haired and plump. Who are you? He can't speak. He's got a scar. He's showing it to me.
Danya.
Our elder son.
Our elder son, Danya.
What happened to him? Where's the scar from?
He flipped over a cup of hot water and burned his skin badly.
After that, he had a skin transplantation procedure. It all healed up, but the scar remained. It was over here.
He's gone, right? When did it happen?
3 years ago.
The boy's spirit is pointing at the house. Let's go over there. Quick.
My God. What happened here?
I hear a child's voice shouting out, "Mom, Mom!" The child is calling for help desperately. The sound is coming from here. The child is shouting here. It's a little boy. He's crying, and there's fear and panic in his eyes.
My God, what happened?
The smell of burning. Some cloth is burning.
There was a fire in our house, and he chalked.
Dear God, here at the door, I see another child's body. It's another little boy.
Our younger son. The elder and the younger, 7 and 3, Yehur and Danya.
What a nightmare! The 2 children died in a fire in this house 3 years ago.
I see a picture. The boys were alone in the house. You go outside, holding some things in your hands.
I was carrying bags, yes. I was taking laundry to my mother-in-law's.
Hannah carried clothes to her mother-in-law's house, which is nearby, to do laundry. After she loaded the clothes into the washing machine, she went back home immediately.
And I see you, Olesander, with a bundle of firewood in your arms. You also left the house.
It was January. We'd sown the seeds and needed to heat the greenhouse. And I was only away for 5 minutes at most.
Nobody could even imagine that in some 15 or 20 minutes, the house would be filled with smoke.
The firefighters had checked the wiring after that. It was in good condition.
Something made of cloth caught fire.
Toys.
According to the firefighters, the source of the fire was the toy box, which started burning.
The children were still alive when you came, but it was too late to save them.
We ran into the house, but there was a lot of smoke and we couldn't see anything. We found the kids and took them out.
We started reviving Danya and called an ambulance. They didn't admit me to the ambulance. We drove to the hospital after the ambulance, but when we got there, we were told they were dead.
My God. My God, this is so terrible. 2 children.
I see the boys can't get out of the house because somebody's hands locked the door like a trap.
The father was in the yard, so he didn't lock the door. But after the fire started, it turned out that the door was locked.
I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't go.
The 3 of us tried to break it down, and we barely did it.
I see a boy run up here. He tries to open the door, but he can't reach the handle, and something falls on him from the hanger.
Danya, the elder of the 2 brothers, was found in the bedroom. He chalked, sitting in front of the TV, but it took everybody a long time to find the younger boy, Yehor.
Yehor was lying in the extension building. We didn't see him at once and stepped over him. He was covered with a coat. It had been on the hanger. He pulled it down. And he covered with it.
The same spirit that is hunting little Bodan took your 2 other sons.
What is this?
There are pieces of broken slate lying in front of the house. What is going on?
This is the spirit of this dead man.
But why did the man's spirit take this family's 2 sons and is hunting the other one?
You're not the only one in your family who has lost children.
My elder sister lost her first child, and so did my second sister. Her baby didn't live more than 3 days.
It looks very much like an ancestral curse. We must work at the site of your family home.
The house of Alexander's parents is nearby. Alexander's father, Vasil, invites the psychics to the yard.
My jinns are telling me to find something that is buried here. The thing brings death. The book is telling me to go that way. A woman is burying something here.
Bring him a shovel, quick.
There's nothing down here. What could be buried here? I dug everywhere.
Here, look.
Come look.
And the black thread?
Well, you look at that and...
Just what you mentioned this morning.
And one of them winds a black thread around the doll's throat and...
This is a charm to bring death to children. The magic is still active.
A woman did it. I see a man. The man had an affair with the woman and left her when she was pregnant. She was in a great pain. And she had an abortion.
My djinns say the charm was made because of a man named Vasil. Is it you?
When I checked the cards, they showed me that the man who was the primary target of the charm had left the house long ago. But how was this possible?
The name of the first owner of the house was also Vasil.
Did he leave?
Yes.
Does it mean the charm targeted the previous owner of the house? And now, Alexander's family is suffering from it.
Every child born in this house is destined to die. Did your sisters live in this house when they were pregnant?
Yes.
Did you live here when Hannah was pregnant with your other 2 children or Bodan?
No. We used to live next door.
The charm we found was indeed aimed at children. This is why Alexander's sisters lost their children who were born in that house. But Hannah never lived in his parents' house, so the charm couldn't have affected her. Something else is threatening Bodan, but first, we must get rid of this. We have to burn it and sprinkle the site with holy water. At that moment, I looked at the wall of the neighboring house and saw a picture of white birds. The birds are the clue my book gave me before the investigation. Below the birds, I see 2 spirits. One of them is a child, a little boy, and he can't talk. I saw him near your house earlier today.
He's got a scar.
But the spirit of the boy I see is not your deceased son. This is another boy, but he also has a scar on his throat. A dead man's spirit that I saw this morning is standing next to him. He was the one who dropped the board on Bohdan. Alexander, this man says he curses you.
He says, "You killed my son."
Yes.
Did you kill the boy on this place?
Yes.
Oh my God.
My djinns say the child killed the child.
I was 8 then.
How old was he?
6 or 7.
What was his name?
Yaroslav.
What happened?
The rifle shot. The bullet pierced his carotid artery. He died on the way to the hospital. I dropped the rifle and ran away.
He beckoned Yaroslav to him, took the aim, and shot. The shot ripped his head off. There was so much blood. It was terrible.
It's been 20 years since it happened, but Alexander still feels fear when he recalls that day. In the morning, his uncle arrived to visit them and left his armed rifle in the yard. Nobody remembers why the man took the rifle with him. He was probably going to go hunting.
He left the rifle unattended, and so it happened.
Little Alexander thought it was a toy and went to boast about it to Yaroslav, their neighbor's son. What happened then was the bang and shock.
The boy says he's your brother in front of God, and you killed him.
My parents were godfathers.
Wait, did your parents baptize the boy you killed?
Yes.
And his family lived next door, right?
Yes.
And then it dawned on me. This was what my book meant when it told me about fratricide. They were brothers in front of God. I feel that the boy's family hates you, and they're always cursing you.
Yes.
The neighbors were devastated by the death of Yaroslav. The boy's mother never recovered after the tragedy.
She lost her mind to drinking.
Whenever she sees me, she starts cursing me and calling me with different bad words.
She even threw stones at him.
It was an accident. It wasn't your fault.
How can I prove it? It was a murder.
The cards told me that the boy's spirit wasn't mad at Alexander for what he'd done, and he understood it had been an accident. Alexander was just a kid, and it was the responsibility of the adults, who left the rifle unattended.
Alexander's uncle was sentenced to 2 years in prison for negligence with the weapon. But ever since, Alexander has always been a murderous child in everyone else's eyes.
The spirit that is hunting your son is telling me he's the dead boy's father.
It turned out that several years after Yaroslav's death, his father, Yuri, fell from the rooftop of a residential high-rise. However, nobody knows to date whether it was an accident or suicide.
The boy's father hated you all his life, and he still hates you after his death. Your children's deaths were his revenge from the other world.
So this is who the broken man from my morning vision was. It was Yuri, the murdered boy's father. He was sitting, making a coffin. We must carry out a ritual on the site where it happened. So you can finally apologize. However, there was, of course, no guarantee that the spirit would accept his apology. Yuri's spirit, come to us. Alexander, he's standing in front of you.
Uncle Yuri, please forgive me. I didn't know what to do. Forgive me, please.
Yaroslav, come to us too.
Yaroslav, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Forgive me, please. Uncle Yuri, don't touch Bodan. He's my last hope.
The fire began extinguishing by itself. The spirit accepted the apology. They're gone now.
From now on, they'll rest in peace, and they won't pose any danger to your family.
Thank you so much for helping us save Bodan.
Thank you.
None of us can change our past, but we can change our future. Sometimes, to do it, you must repent of what you did and apologize to those you hurt. If you're impressed by the story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel to never miss new investigations by the psychics.